The moment video game lovers have been waiting for. After 10 years, an entire decade, players are finally getting their first look at the sixth installment of Grand Theft Auto.
There was a girl I knew. She said she cared about me.
The trailer for the upcoming game was released 15 hours early because of an online leak. The promo includes all of the GTA classics, including beaches, party scenes, and fast cars. Fans will still have to wait, though, before they can get their hands on the game. The game will not be released until 2025. Think of this as a bit of an appetizer. Joining me to discuss this highly anticipated new release is Carmi Levy. He is our tech analyst. Carmi, good morning to you.
Good morning, Marcia. Great to be here.
Are you a gamer?
I wouldn't describe myself as an avid gamer. I have played GTA many times in my life, loved it with my kids. And so I'll play them because I find them enjoyable, but no, I don't spend a huge amount of time on them. But, you know, it's hard to underscore just the influence of gaming on the broader tech industry. A lot of the advancements that we take for granted often take root in gaming. The innovations that we see in terms of graphics and things like that, and the hardware that drives them, it's the gaming industry that drives it. A lot of money there, a lot of activity, and a lot of residual impact across the industry.
Okay, so you're kind of building up to what I was saying. I'm not a gamer, and just reading about this today, boy, this is a big, hairy deal, and it's on track, just the trailer, to be the most watched YouTube clip possibly ever in 24 hours. So people are clearly excited. Why have fans of Grand Theft Auto had to wait 10 years for this new game to come out?
Well, you know, this is a game that has a reported budget, and the number is eye-popping, over $1 billion to develop. And in an age when, you know, most games have in the tens of millions or hundreds of millions, which is big enough, it's like a feature film, that's significant. And so it isn't something that's just released in a few months or a couple of years. These things really are years, in some cases decades, in the planning. And at the same time, somewhat cynically, Rockstar Games, the developer behind the franchise, they've been able to milk the previous version, GTA 5, with special editions and updates and things like that along the way. So if it doesn't cost you, if you can avoid that $1 billion investment more often than you need to, you can squeeze as much revenue out of the previous version. And that's kind of how the industry works. Those cycles are getting longer. But as we see with gamers, they're still willing to buy the interim versions. They're still willing to wait 10 years, and they will pull out their wallets when that new version does get released.
So is it set to be the biggest selling game, do you think, of all time?
I think that's safe to say. Some of the projections that we're seeing are huge. They're saying about $3.5 billion in revenue the first year, $2 billion every year afterward. That's its own economy. And I think it shows just how powerful the video game industry has become. It's larger in terms of revenue, significantly larger than music and movies combined. Last estimate we have is about $180 billion annually globally, and those are US dollars. So it's an absolute powerhouse, and certainly in the pantheon of video games, GTA, that GTA franchise that goes back to 1997, that really is, it's one of the ones that sits at the absolute top of a very lucrative pile.
So it's extremely popular, yet, Carmi, it is controversial. A lot of, for example, American lawmakers don't like it. And there's a lot of criticism around the way women are portrayed. It's too violent. Have you heard or seen anything that tells you perhaps Rockstar is changing GTA 6 as it is expected to sort of reflect more of the current times?
First of all, they're keeping their cards very close to the vest. I wouldn't expect them to change anything. That is part of the appeal, the fact that this company has routinely pushed the bounds. I say this as a parent. You know, we had that conversation in our family when we decided whether our kids should be playing this as well. And honestly, I'm not 100% comfortable with it. No parent is. But I think that's one of the reasons why it is as popular as it is that it pushes those bounds. And it does court that controversy. And somewhat cynically, it's that controversy that gets the headlines. Of course, in the gaming industry, even if you get a negative headline, it's a good thing because that gets people to pay attention to you. So I don't necessarily personally approve of the tactics used by the company, but there's no doubt it is driving their top and bottom line, and I wouldn't expect them to change that anytime soon. This, after all, is a company that seeks profit, and this is the way you do it in 2023 in the influencer age.
And lastly, I have to ask you about the fact that the trailer was leaked. Yeah. Was it really leaked?
Oh yeah, I think that's just part of the marketing process. In much the same way that years ago when that Apple phone magically showed up, it was left behind in a bar. That's just the way it works. And if you have a leak, what it does, it creates another excuse to feed the news cycle. It gives your fans who've been waiting for 10 years another excuse to engage digitally, to watch that video, to talk about it online, to post it to their social media feeds. So this is just the way the game's played. There is no negative here. So whether it's been leaked, whether there's a spoiler, whether there's a hack, it doesn't matter. Game makers eat this up, and when it's the biggest title of all, it's only going to make that bottom line revenue even larger in the end.
All right, you've got a year or so to save up for it. Carmi Levy, thank you so much. Great to see you today.
Thanks, Marcia. Great to see you as well.
Saying